You want to see some motherfucking Tetris? That's just a little bit. This is how you fit 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag. Or 200 pounds of shit into an Impreza. Yeah, I shouldn't be screwing around because I have to go meet up with my trainer. But I just got done packing up. And the doors are gonna close. And I'm running a couple minutes behind for him, which is not great. Got all the doors closed. First try, didn't have to rearrange anything. But this is how we do it. What up, geez? I shouldn't say that. That sounds so dumb. Anyway, how you guys doing? I'm just heading over to where my truck is parked. I'm at a lot next to this, or like a little over from this Love's. This is the area where I trained out of. And tomorrow was my first day on my own, and I just got moved into the truck. Just got finished moving into the truck. But I neglected to bring an extension cord from home, so I just had to buy one at the Love's and pay like a lot more than I should. But we're not going to worry about that because it's time to go back to the truck and reheat some Lou Malnati's. I know I'm a little obsessed, but every time I go home I got to get some. And I feel bad because I totally forgot to give some to my trainer today, because we were talking about it and I was like, oh, I will give you some for sure. Getting used to how much smaller this truck is. It's requires me to adapt, but I know I sound like a broken record. I think I'm trying to program myself into like getting over it, because it's a necessary thing, because I was bringing too much crap that I didn't even need. Like these bins, drawers, I was bringing all this stuff I didn't need, and this forces me to be more strategic with how I pack up the stuff that I need in the truck. So we're going back there now. Sorry, the phone is a little bit crooked. Here, if I go like this. Things are already off to a little bit of a weird start. Today is my first day on my own. I've had a lot more nerves than I have before. It's just totally different when you're with when you have been with somebody that you can lean on the whole time for like however long this has been, 3 weeks that I was in training or so, and now I'm on my own. And I came to this facility to get the access that I need, which involves you having someone watch you do the procedure of loading the truck. We had an appointment, and then the company failed to inform me that they had canceled the appointment because they had some all-day training today, like their internal training. So I was like, okay. I was like low-key relieved, but at the same time like frustrated, because I want to get this done. And then the way it works, because of how secure things are, the security by which things are done at these types of places, you can't just have your company's trainer be like, okay, this person's good, and then you are allowed to go in and load your truck with diesel. Like, you're not allowed to do that. The company that you're loading at has to give you access and verify that you are allowed to load at their facility. If I'm understanding correctly, no, I know this. I don't know why I'm saying it like I don't. Let's say this company that we're loading fuel from, I'll have to go to one of their other facilities somewhere at some point, you know, inevitably. I'll have to get access to that facility as well. Like, I'll have to get access to a bunch of different facilities. But now, the way their procedures are, the requirements, I'm waiting for another driver who I'm actually looking at his truck right now, so hopefully he's on his way out of there. He has to come over, and I'm gonna hang out in his truck and wait, and he has to physically go load my trailer for me. So I won't get the practice of doing the load in, which is not a big deal because I know how to do it. It's that thing where when you have help, you don't rely on yourself as much, so you don't have to commit things to memory as much, because in your brain you're like, oh, I'll just ask him. Lazy brain. So I got myself all nervous. I was like having nervous sweats on the way here. Also, you'll always notice if I'm filming in the truck, most of the time the truck's going to be running, and I really miss using the Opti idle. And I was wondering if part of the reason that I can't, that this truck isn't enabled with Opti idle, could have to do with the fact that these trucks are set up very specifically to eliminate the risk of like static, electricity, stuff like that. I just pulled into this place that's across the street to like flip around. It's not a very big lot, but okay, this is a funny thing, and I wonder if any people watching this, sorry, I'm tripping over my words like crazy this morning. Coffee, do your thing. You would think with all the nerves I got going this morning that I would be like wide awake, but it's been a busy day yesterday, and then today I'm kind of just getting back into the swing of things. But I have had a hard time maneuvering this truck, which is weird because it's way smaller than what I'm used to, and for some reason, I swear, I think even if you're going from a bigger truck to a smaller truck, it can mess you up because your brain is just so used to the different orientation, like the different dimensions of your vehicle. And I'm used to a 53-foot trailer, and I remember when I first started driving, when I was at the flatbed job and I was driving a 48-footer, it felt a little bit weird, and it was a split axle, so that definitely changed the trajectory of the trailer movement when you're backing and stuff a little bit, depending on if it's loaded or not. That also adds a variable to it. But now, I swear to God, I can't back this truck some of the time, or like I'm like just derpy, you know. And I'm in this little tiny, it's not that small, I'm in this small lot though, and I had to flip around, and I'm like, oh man, I'm in this little bar, it's a little bar, and I'm like, it's funny because I went in there to use the bathroom, and it reminded me so much of this little towny bar I used to work at. They're super friendly in there, and it's like a really cute little bar, actually, very clean, it's really nice, but little towny bar. And lady was really nice, and bartender let me use the bathroom and stuff. But I was like, I feel like I needed to explain myself, like, I promise I know how to drive a truck. She's like, it looks like that truck was giving you a little trouble there. I'm like, yeah, sheepishly. You see that blushing? That's okay. This is how we learn. This is adaptation through discomfort. That is the name of the game in trucking, especially. And that's one thing I sort of like give myself props for, is that I keep pushing myself into more and more uncomfortable new situations where I'm forced to adapt. And that's like the best way in life to grow, is to make yourself uncomfortable as often as possible. And nothing will make you uncomfortable like showing up in a fuel tanker to a place that you're supposed to load for the first time by yourself, and then finding out that you can't, and then having to do weird maneuvers to get yourself across a busy street and into a little parking lot. This truck is only, how many feet is it? I should know this off the top of my head. Don't yell at me, or do what you want. It's, what is it? It's not 48. I think it's less than, I think it's like 40. Okay, embarrassing, right? And then my height clearance is tiny too. I'm 10.6. We measured it the other day. My tractor is 10.6, and the trailer is like 10 and change, like 10.2, 10.3. So I'm a little guy now. All right, that's enough rambling from me. This other driver's coming out. Hopefully I'm gonna get loaded and then head to my unload at a different Loves that I haven't unloaded at yet. So new experiences. I'm gonna check it out on the Google Maps and look at the layout so I can see exactly where I need to pull in to unload. Howdy, I'm at my unload, and we hit another minor snag. Nothing crazy, but this is one of the things that can happen. The tanks that I have to unload into don't have enough space for what I need to unload. So I'm just waiting a little bit, and fortunately there's steady enough traffic at this Loves, even though it's like a time of day that's not super busy, but it looks like it's going down kind of steadily, like there's a little bit more room. So I've waited so far about 15 minutes. I'm gonna wait probably another 15 minutes, and then I think I should be good. But that's a really important thing that we have to check as fuel haulers. When you're going to do an unload, you have to make absolutely sure before you go to unload that there's plenty of room in the tanks, and it can't be more than 90% of the room that is available. And there's specific information that you get when you go into the store, that you get on a little printout that tells you how much room exactly is in each of the tanks that you can unload into. So we went to a place, my trainer, one of the things that he did that was really cool is, as a intentional teaching experience, he had us go to a place where, how did this go? Where there was like not enough room in one of the tanks, so I can't remember how we did it. Did we partially unload into one of the tanks and then we stopped it and moved to a different tank? I can't remember exactly how we did it. So hopefully when I do, if and when I have to do that in the future, it'll come back to me. But I'm gonna go back inside in a few minutes and see if we have room in that tank, in the tanks, for me to unload what I got. And then hopefully I can head on to my next destination. But yeah, it's just been a weird day of kind of delays, of like stuff not going 100% right, but that's okay. What up? back, baby. If you know, you know. This is as far as this door wants to stay open. So this is what we got today, along with a weird reflection, weird distorted reflection. Anyway, just gonna keep it real brief. I'm tired. I need to eat something and watch a cheesy medical drama that I'm watching now. It's the Resident. It's very cheesy. It's one of those, just, I don't know. I love a dumb show sometimes. There's a bunch of seasons. Let me put it this way. House, it is not. And also, if you know, you know. Did anyone watch House? I love that show so much. I watched it like twice through. Anyway, cheeseball. I like a medical drama. We go way back. My mom remembers this if she's watching, which at some point she will see this video. Chicago Hope, and what was the other one? It's one of the big ones. She's yelling it at the screen right now. Sorry, Mom, I can't think of it. ER, duh, ER. Anyway. Today was a day of mishaps, and thankfully nothing that I did that created any problems. I'm sorry, this reflection is real distracting, so I'm just going to hold the door like this real quick. I'm too tired to get into details right now, but basically I was supposed to be getting card access to a place that we had an appointment at, and then when I got there they told us that we didn't have an appointment and we never set up the appointment, but we had a whole bunch of emails to prove that we did, which included their responses. So it was kind of weird, but it turned out that they were having training there and they couldn't do it today, so they're doing it tomorrow. So I got myself all stressed out for nothing. That's fine, whatever. Then I went to this unload, the next place that I was unloading after that, after having another driver help me get loaded there, which is how it works. The other driver had to actually physically take my truck into the facility, get it loaded, and take it back out, because I don't have my own access to that facility yet, and it's going to take some time of doing this job before I have access to more places. And the more places I have access to, the less of a hassle it's going to be. So I need to make sure I understand the processes and do everything correctly so that I can go into a place and be like, hey, can I get access to your facility, blah blah. Anyway, that's not the exact verbiage, but I'm trying to be thoughtful about how I say things. And then I went to my unload and there wasn't enough room in the tanks, and it set off this crazy alarm because I thought there was enough room after making multiple phone calls to bug my trainer. My poor trainer got like 10 calls from me today, which normally I'd like to think I'm somewhat low maintenance. Once I get something, I try not to bug people because I know they have other stuff going on, but today was just one of those days when I needed a lot of help. It was my first day out and kind of Murphy's Law type of day, but you know what we say, that's trucking. It really is. It's Murphy's Law is the only law in trucking, aside from like all the other stuff that I'm not going to bitch about because I bitch about it the rest of the time. Let's not do that today. So I'm going to eat something and I'm going to put this down, but thank you for listening to my little diatribe. I'm like slowly closing the door more and more because this reflection is like unnerving to me. And I hope whatever you're doing, you're having a good night, and I hope you enjoyed this edition of the microwave trucking diatribes. I will catch you later. Good morning. It's an absolutely beautiful morning here in good old Missouri, my favorite place. You guys know I love it here. I'm just joshing you Missouriites. How do you say that? Missourians? Yeah, it is though. Very beautiful morning. I'm waiting on another driver, and I'm about to refill my water bottles here, but they always fill these so full. Side note, we love a side note. This water from Target is the best tasting water. I end up going to Walmart's a lot when I'm on the road because it's easier to park at Walmart's for trucks usually, depending. I shouldn't say it is. I would say that as far as I know, I don't really think Target allows trucks to park in their lots, but Target has the best tasting water. For some reason, this water is really good and it's cheaper. I think, well, it's relatively the same cost. I'm just drinking some off the top so I don't spill it as I'm trying to pour it into my water bottle, which is what I tend to do. I refill these and use them a bunch of times. But I'm at a refinery that I'm trying to get loaded at. And this is one of the, how can I do this without making a mess here? This is one of the things that is a challenge when you're new to fuel hauling, is that you can't just go to a refinery that your company sends you to and get your truck load, or like load your truck yourself. You have to first go there with another driver. Is that sound unnerving to anybody? Sorry. Let me finish doing this first. I'll be right back. Like there's just a pouring sound off camera. Like what's she doing? No, I did that a little bit ago. There's a porta-john over there. Okay, hang on. Let's fill the other one up. Do we really need 2 water bottles filled up? I guess we do. Don't ask why. Just go with me here. I've tried using reusable water bottles because I really would prefer not to waste plastic like this. The reason that I usually don't is that those water bottles always have straws that are impossible to like really keep clean, and when you are living on the road, you don't have access to like a sink and soap to like soak things in a sink. You could sort of come up with your own version of that, but it would end up using a lot more water. That's just one of like the practical challenges of trucking. If you're in a regular truck or regular sleeper truck and you don't have access to running water, which most of us don't, unless you bring a bunch of stuff into a truck stop, which is another pretty unsanitary environment. So do you really want to wash your dishes in there? You see people doing that sometimes, and most truck stops in the area where the coffee is and stuff, they'll have like a little sink, but that's technically just for the employees to use. I'll still use it sometimes. But yeah, you can't really like wash your dishes. So I would love to use a reusable water bottle with a straw, but I wouldn't want to do that unless I could like really soak the straw in hot soapy water, because those things get gross and just trap bacteria. So I tend to buy these. I reuse them. After, I've used it for a day and I'm going to reuse it, I use my handy dandy tea tree oil and water spray that has a very gentle antibacterial effect, and wipe out the inside of the cap and the inside of the opening of the water bottle. These are just some of my little habits I don't talk about as much on my channel, but I will get into from, at some point, talking about like practical comforts in the truck. I've been saying for the last 2 years since I started trucking that I would do a video of my trucking must-haves of like basic everyday kind of comfort. Speaking of which, the thing that I forgot, or things that I forgot when I packed up to come on this trip, that is like the most annoying things to forget, is I normally have one set of utensils, a knife, a fork, and a spoon, and then I have at least 1 or 2 sharp knives on me for like if I need to cut something that requires that. But wink, no, just kidding. I'm not the violent sort, but I normally have those on me because, who wants to eat food with plastic sporks? Well, guess what? I'm eating food with sporks and plastic forks and spoons and whatnot for the time being, because I left those at home. And that's one thing you can't really buy in a truck stop. It's too bad that they don't sell like a limited number of like little travel or camping, like a little set of camping utensils. I'm sure that's something that you can get, but I don't have those things. So I'm eating with plasticware, and it's not enjoyable at all. I'm looking forward to being able to get my silverware set back. Something that small, like literal small item, you bring it home to wash it, and if you forget it, it makes your next couple of weeks kind of annoying every time you want to eat something. So these are just little things that we got to think about out here. So anywho, I'm waiting for another driver who is going to come here. This particular facility requires you, some of you fuel haulers are going to be like, what, when you hear this? They're going to require me to load here 15 times before they'll give me card access. That sounds kind of extreme, because it sounds like it is. Even though I'm new to this, I even know that. Other places it's like a couple of times. I went back and forth with them a little bit. I was talking to another driver as I was waiting here, and he said, oh, you should just see if you can load our trucks like in other company trucks and see if that counts towards the 15. And I checked with, I was like, well, I hadn't thought about that. Maybe that's a thing. I called or checked with the company, checked with these guys, and my company didn't immediately nix the idea, but the company that I'm loading at did. They said, no, it needs to be Gemini trucks. I'm like, okay. I'm waiting for another of our drivers who's on his way here. Real nice guy. We chatted for a little bit, and he's going to have me load his truck with gas and my truck, which I'm doing a diesel load. And that way I'll have 2 knocked out. And then as I was going back and forth with the people at this company, they said, oh, well, we'll do 7 or 8 loads and then we'll see where we're at. I'm like, okay, he's like, I'm guessing that will get me the access that I need. Like, demonstrate that you can do it in 7 or 8 times without, messing stuff up, and we'll give you your card or whatever. So that seems reasonable to me. Anyway, at least it's a nice day. I'm waiting. I'm going to just walk around a little bit and listen to something in the meantime. Probably some, WBEZ Chicago's NPR station spam. Okay, later. Howdy, partners. I went a little bit country for a second. So, having just kind of a weird day, not a bad day. I don't feel like I've had a bad day in a while. Other than just like, it's hard to be new. It's never the best feeling. But you guys remember how I recently had a little diesel bath foible while I was fueling my truck. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without touching anything that has diesel on it. Well, that happened again, and I realized that, unfortunately, as annoying as it is, because I don't know about you guys, but this annoys me a lot to have to do, to have to fuel the truck. I want to utilize every second that I can, so I don't want to be, where did I put that? Dawn, you know where this is going, don't you? I don't want to be wasting any time. And when you stop the truck, it's weird because part of it is that I'm still in the mindset of mileage pay, so I'm like always rushing. Not always rushing. Don't take it like that. I'm not like doing anything dangerous or anything like that. But I'm in the mindset of like I need to utilize every minute I have, you know. Well, dang it. When I fuel, I try to make those fuel stops as efficient as possible. And now I'm getting paid by the hour, and some people are milk the clock types of people, and I'm not one of those people. I really like to just do the best I can at whatever I'm doing. I want to use time efficiently. Because it ultimately works in your favor. And listen, hear me out. If you're one of those people who is like, well, screw them, they're making more money than I am, you know, whoever's your company or whatever. Yeah, okay, that's true, but think about it in terms of like, how can you set yourself up to be the employee that they want to hook up when there's an opportunity for someone to get hooked up, if that makes sense. Someone's having a good day. It's a great day for a ride out here, man. I've been going back and forth in Missouri for the last couple of days, and it's just been absolutely beautiful, like in the Ozarks. There's been, now, you know, today there's more traffic because it's a Saturday, so that's kind of annoying. But, wow, I went off on my usual array of tangents. That could be a jazz band name. Array of tangents. That's actually kind of perfect. I used to play trombone when I was a kid. I was just okay at it. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so you know how, like, I was fueling when I first started driving this truck, and I got distracted by something my trainer said, and I was like, huh? And I started to walk away, and the thing flew out of the pump and got sprayed diesel everywhere, and I managed to avoid it that time, but this time I did not. And I was actually not distracted. I just placed it in there, and as soon as I thought I had it set up, and as soon as I let go of it, it flew out. And this time it like soaked the bottom of my pant leg and my docks, which are thankfully not the work boots that I have to wear when I'm in a rack, like loading the truck, because they're not steel toed. So I have a different pair of shoes, which are these, which I don't really like. These are just cheapo. I think I shared a link to them, because if you're starting out new and you need composite toed shoes that are like oil resistant, chemical resistant, these are, you could check my last video, look in the description. There's a link to these, and I'm sure they have men's and women's or whatever. They're cheap. They're a good starter pair, but I'm definitely going to get myself. I really like those cool, I forget the brand name, but they look like cowboy boots, and they have the squared off toes. Those are dope. That's what I'm going to get next. I just very much prefer, for the sake of efficiency and comfort, I prefer a pull-on boot. I don't drive in my boots that I have to wear while I'm working. I would drive in some soft, cheap, fake UGG boots that I have. And then I keep the outdoor boots on the passenger side floor, and those are the ones I slip on and off anytime I jump in and out of the truck. That's why I like slip-ons, because they're quick. But yeah, I got doused. It sucked. I got it all over the ground. There's a puddle on the ground, but thankfully I have these cotton, I don't know if they're cotton, I have these pads that we have to have on our trucks to soak up any spills, and I used one of those because it was a pretty good puddle, and I cleaned it up pretty good, cleaned up my steps and a little bit off my tank. It went everywhere. I was like, man. So pre-soaking my clothes in some Dawn, my one of my 2 pairs of overalls that I have on me. I didn't bring enough clothes because this truck is smaller and I was worried about not having enough space, which was a very legitimate worry. So I do need to get some more clothes on the truck though, because you sometimes just don't know when you're going to have an opportunity to wash clothes. And when you do a job like this where there's a high potential for getting your clothes soaked in something that you just aren't going to wear, like I'm not going to wear these. I'm keeping them in this garbage bag so I don't stink up my truck like Diesel. But Dawn works really well. I did this the last time, just soaked them really good in Dawn and let it, pre-treat until whenever I get a chance to wash them. In the meantime, I'm gonna be real careful. Oops, my phone's ringing. Be real careful in these overalls. Okay, I looked everywhere and I found these at the Walmart, and they are in aisle H21, which is where you will find all of the lunch bags and insulated food jars and stuff like that. Boom.